gather around a tree and all the little kids get the toys that they want. It's a wonderful night. It's
this
a festive
is a
atmosphere. Why not
promo.
do Christmas 365 nights a year? Because that would be stupid. Because it defeats the purpose. Because it's special. It's unique. Like an appearance by my client. Why not just have every Monday called WrestleMania?
Why not?
Because it defeats the purpose. Because WrestleMania is
once
a year. Can't miss. Must see.
This is for you numbskulls.
Like my client. Now, if John Cena gets by Seth Rollins at the TLC pay-per-view, a war-weary John Cena coming out of these battles with the Authority has to face a fresh, rested, properly trained Brock Lesnar, which means the beating that John Cena will receive will make the one that he received at SummerSlam pale by comparison. But what happens, Mr. Cole, if John Cena doesn't get by Seth Rollins? Who becomes the #1 contender? My client and I are very intrigued by this. Who becomes the #1 contender? Would it be Seth Rollins, who curb stomped Brock Lesnar, who can't hide behind the Authority anymore? And for the record, my acceptance of Seth Rollins' apology for that curb stomp is hereby rescinded.
Rescinded.
So who becomes #1 contender? How about The Undertaker? That'd be interesting. If you can find him, which you can't, since Brock Lesnar taught him that losing does sting.
What about Sting?
Why not make Sting the #1 contender? You don't even have to advertise it as a retirement match. Because if Sting ever stepped into the ring with Brock Lesnar, it would be a retirement match. Let's make it fair. Make the whole WWE locker room the #1 contender. Line them all up against Brock Lesnar. It would be like throwing the human beings to the lions in the Roman Colosseum. Brock Lesnar will eat through that entire locker room one by one and en masse. Because, Mr. Cole, there is an authority here in WWE. There is a power. And I said it many years ago when Stone Cold Steve Austin was the champion. He who has the gold has the power, and he who has the power has the gold. And I represent that power. Because, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. And I am the advocate for that power. The can't miss, must see, reigning, defending, undisputed WWE heavyweight champion of the world,
Brock
Lesnar.
Mr. Caldero, Chris Coury, the future. We love it raw. Wrestling review. We just listened to Paul Heyman's promo, which was awesome. You do not agree? You shaking your head over there.
No, I don't agree.
Listen.
No, I don't.
He said the gosh darn it truth. He said that WrestleMania comes once a year.
Right.
And that's the special occasion.
Okay.
He made it a point to say that the belt and him together are a special occasion. Come on, Chris. You know what?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. No. That's why viewership is down. That's why a lot of this shit is down. That's why not many people are watching Raw, SmackDown, or these pay-per-views. Except for Survivor Series a couple weeks ago. Because it was a high-stakes pay-per-view. But nobody's watching these shows because their champion is not a part of it. If you want to get the viewership back up, okay? Get Brock Lesnar to appear maybe on 1 or 2 shows.
You are the quintessential fan that says the whole Brock Lesnar thing. You are the fan. You know what I'm saying? You heard what Vince McMahon said.
Yeah, I heard what Vince meant.
Brock Lesnar is an attraction. The more you see him, the less of an attraction he is. He's not somebody that his personality holds up. So he needs to only be just a kick your ass machine, and that's it. That's all he needs to be. He doesn't need to be anything else. And the championship was the last time there was a championship reign for this long that was this dominating and this not frequent on TV. Like, what was the last time? The 70s when the champ was there once a month and once every 2 months. Now it's even extended more. When you see the belt, I guarantee it's going to be a big deal. When you see the belt at Royal Rumble, you're going to be guaranteed that's a big deal.
I don't know.
Because it's been going for so long. But anyways, you're going to say that Raw sucked, from what I understand.
Oh, did it ever.
So just say how much it sucked.
It was bad. Bad. It was horrible.
It was... I'm going to tell you a real thing that happened. I said to myself, WWE is awesome. You know why? Because it was kind of a lame show, to be honest. But I still enjoyed myself. And I said to myself, what if this wasn't on today? I kind of like had an enlightenment moment. I was just like, I'm grateful, like Thanksgiving time, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for Monday Night Raw. And I was like, this is awesome. The little things that went right was good enough. My favorite moment was the Divas match. AJ Lee and Naomi, which to me are my favorite divas as far as how they look and how good they are in the ring.
Right.
They're both, to me, very attractive and very good in the ring.
Yeah.
And Naomi is good because she's coming up. And she's tied into the whole thing. And you know you liked how, what's his name? John Uso
Uso.
smacked
Yeah.
The Miz in the face like a bitch.
That's because Miz went to Naomi
Yeah, he was like,
and gave her
I like the way you twerk.
Yeah, I'll piss anybody. Yeah, you say that to my wife. You can bet your bottom dollar you're getting your ass knocked out.
Bet you bottom dollar. But for real though.
And just to make something quick about Raw, we have new number one contenders for the titles. Again, it's the Usos. And they're going to be fighting The Miz and Mizdow in 2 weeks at TLC in Cleveland.
Yeah, that was a really long match.
It was tag team turmoil, so it was pretty good. I mean, that was about the only real highlight of the night for Monday Night Raw. Oh, and the other highlight that I want to bring up quick was the bombshell that the anonymous Raw general manager brought up to start off the show. That if Cena loses to Rollins in their match at TLC, that Cena is no longer the number one contender for the title. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
you saw Cena's reaction, like, huh?
Now, let me ask you this question. Let's say Cena loses to Seth Rollins. Okay? Who in your mind should be the number one contender for the title?
Watch the podcast YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who should be the number one contender if John Cena was to lose, you ask?
Yes.
I would say... that's a good question. I haven't thought of it.
I had one in
honestly could
mind.
say you threw me off because I haven't thought about it.
I had one in mind. One in mind. And his name is Dean Ambrose.
No.
Yes.
I don't honestly see it happening.
That's just, in my mind, I see Ambrose becoming the number one contender because I think, honestly, he deserves a shot. He's worked his way up. He's fought through hell, fire, and brimstone. Yes, took a
It's
cane.
too soon. It's too soon.
I don't know, but that's just my opinion.
He needs to come up. I'd say he needs another year of being the same way, different feuds. Then he's ready for it. I give it another year.
You're gonna give him another year.
I think he will get there. I think that, you know, when you put somebody on the spotlight before they're ready, I think he has everything, but he needs a run of being the way he is first, and then give him the big opportunities.
I mean, you know,
I think he could win like a smaller belt for now.
maybe
like
like
the IC.
maybe like Intercontinental and all that.
Yeah, and I think that he'll be a good champ as far as that goes.
So you're saying give him the run as the IC champion, see how that goes, and then if that gains success, then build him up to the next level and become the WWE champion.
Yeah, pretty much. And it could be a feud that leads up to when Seth Rollins has the belt. Because who knows, maybe at WrestleMania 31, whoever wins in the main event, whatever. Let's pretend it's Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. Right?
Okay, right.
Let's pretend. Seth Rollins and then comes in, curb stomps him,
Cashes in.
then he gets the belt immediately.
Okay.
That day, let's say for just fantasy's sake, Seth Rollins is the new champion by the end of WrestleMania 31.
Okay.
Then that's gonna lead to Roman feud,
With Seth
them
Rollins.
at the same level with the title. Then that may not work out because they want Roman to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
they want Roman to lose it fast so the fans can hate it and be like, oh, he needs it again. You know, a build like that. So when he gets it again, it's that much more of a bigger deal. So Seth can have it for a while. You know what I'm saying?
You're
Seth
right.
can have it for a while, and that will leave. And then eventually, in some way, shape, or form, Dean Ambrose, let's say, not this year, but 2016, let's say he wins the Royal Rumble.
Or what about the Money in the Bank? He can.
Or Money in the Bank next year. Let's just say Royal Rumble 2016, just to say that in the order that it's going in my head. That Rollins is set up already, but he's not going to cash in for a while.
Right.
So that gives him and Dean chances to like really show people what they got.
Okay.
So hence the Bray Wyatt feud.
Right. Now, as I see it, I mean, that was a good point. Good point. A lot of good points on that one. Here's how I see it. You go to WrestleMania next year. You're on the showcase of showcases. Seth Rollins, at the end of the night, becomes the champion. Okay? You skip ahead to Money in the Bank, which is what, around June?
I'm not sure.
I think it's around June. You put Ambrose in there. And he wins it. He has a year to cash that in. A year. I say, and this is just a thought, by the Royal Rumble of 2016 or WrestleMania 32, Ambrose gets the title. Against who? I don't know.
I feel like that's so far away I can't even.
But that's how I see it.
It
You put
could
him
happen.
in the Money in the Bank next year. Next year you put him in the Money in the Bank ladder match. He wins it. He gets that briefcase. He's now Mr. Money in the Bank. Or Mr. Lunatic Fringe in the Bank. Whatever you want to put it. And like I said, you have that whole year to cash in that briefcase. Okay? What better way to do it than either at the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania of 2016? That's just how I see it. Will it happen that way? No, because we're not part of the creative writing staff. But that's how I see it. That's how you gave your view of it. That's how we have different views about it. But one way or another, it's going to come true. We just don't know when. But one way or another, it will come true.
We're really reaching, both of us, for what we said. But it's in my head. In 2 years, the main event players are going to be Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose,
Roman Reigns,
Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and maybe Ziggler.
Ziggler's already up there, though.
But what I'm saying is, you don't know what's going to happen in 2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I know all those guys are going to be up there.
I mean, Ziggler's had a taste of gold of the world title.
So, yeah.
So...
And hopefully we really get somebody else that deserves to be here in WWE. Not just Sting, but Kurt Angle. I want him to finish in WWE. I don't understand why it's not happening. I don't want him to finish in TNA. I'm sorry. That's not something I want.
But it'll be interesting to see is...
All he needs is one more WrestleMania and I'll be satisfied. I don't need a run. If you give me a couple Raws and a WrestleMania, I'm in.
You think he'll show up at this year's Royal Rumble?
I don't think so. I think that it's
you don't
not
think
gonna
Angle's
happen.
going to show up at the Rumble in 15?
It's not gonna happen, but I want it to happen. So anything else about Raw? Let's just talk about other stuff. I got some news here, brother.
What's that?
Do you have before I go into the news? Do you have any impressions you can do? Any wrestler of all time?
Hell no.
Man, we gotta do something.
Hell no.
We gotta figure something else. Hulk Hogan, brother. With the news, brother. So, apparently SmackDown had the highest views since March.
Really?
Yeah, so...
Highest views since March?
Of this year, yeah, so...
This past Friday? Wow, really?
Yeah, so good for SmackDown.
Wow, about time.
Here I have another news segment about Alberto Del Rio talks about CM Punk and when he left WWE.
Oh, shit.
And he said that CM Punk is a stand-up guy and that he stands by CM Punk.
Okay.
And he saw all the things CM Punk went through and he understands. And he also talked about his own situation. And he said that when Alberto Del Rio's son looks up his father on the internet, he's going to know he stood up for what
he believed
in. Because that guy was blatantly racist and said a lot of foul things. The guy that he assaulted. He did the wrong thing by assaulting the guy.
Yeah, which you don't do.
But, you know...
I agree with Del Rio.
His anger was well felt, but it was wrong.
He took it over the line, basically.
Yeah.
But in the meantime as well, he defended himself. You have some idiot in the company that decided to be a racist to Alberto Del Rio. You don't do that. Okay? Now, let's say, for instance, where you work, somebody comes up to you and starts becoming a racist to you. Even though it's not right to do, to hit the guy, would you stand up for what you believe in and punch the guy in the face? Even though it might cost you your job, would you do it? Or would you keep your cool and walk away?
I think that's just personally what gets to him. Because I have thick skin with people teasing, and I'm just someone that's good at just taking jokes. I'm not someone that takes it. He's apparently somebody that will take it to that point.
Okay, yeah.
And if you know who you are and you know how you feel about yourself, you don't have to worry about other people's comments.
Right.
It's Alberto's own insecurities that ruined his opportunities at WWE.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, cliche.
Right.
But it really is. He honestly knows deep down that he made a mistake. He's not admitting it, but he made a mistake with putting his hands on him. When you could just go in the ring and take it out on somebody else, like your job. Instead, you hit somebody that's not trained.
Yeah, that's...
that's not something you do.
That's taking it over the limit right there.
And did you notice on Raw, Mick Foley's daughter was there?
That's who that was?
Yep. She's a pretty young lady, if I must say myself.
I was wondering who that was.
And I listened to her on Peter Rosenberg's podcast, Cheap Heat. And she was on the show. And she has aspirations of wrestling, so...
Maybe she'll come in.
Maybe she'll come in NXT as
What's her name?
Noli. Noli Foley.
Noli Foley. Oh, boy.
And she is an attractive young lady.
She got some exposure.
And that Kane joke was horrible.
Oh, that was so bad.
The final news that I have for you, Chris.
What's that?
Will Brock Lesnar be at the Raw SummerSlam? The Slammies. Sorry,
next week.
The Slammies, because Brock Lesnar is advertised to be at the Slammies, but there's no mention, nothing's going on.
Will he show up? I think he will.
This will be a great disappointment for the people that paid for tickets to go watch him when you paid for tickets with Brock Lesnar.
I think he'll show up.
So maybe next week we will see the Beast incarnate.
I think he'll show up.
Maybe he's contractually obligated to show up next week. It's next week, right? The Slammies.
Yeah, I believe so.
So hopefully next week we get the Beast. Maybe this Raw was slow because next week is going to pick up.
Yeah, and you have Seth Green.
Seth Green hosting. That's pretty cool.
And maybe you'll have Brock Lesnar. I think you will. I honestly think.
And the ring is always there, right?
Huh?
The ring is always there?
Yeah, the ring's always there. They have matches.
Yeah. Because last year was the first Slammies I saw. Ever.
I've seen the Slammies ever since they got reinstitutionalized. They're nothing like what they used to be, because I remember the Slammies always used to be before WrestleMania. And it used to be a separate show that led up to WrestleMania. But now you got the Hall of Fame, and you're putting the Slammies as like a year-end event, which I think is good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it last year.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good.
I'm curious to see who wins Best Match of the Year or whatever it's called.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see. Any other news that you have to mention?
No, that's all I got. That's the news, brother, by Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Okay. Now we want to go into something really interesting that happened last night on the network. The Stone Cold Podcast. Do we have to do it again?
No.
Are we good?
Hello. Last week we said that we didn't know whether it's going to be on Podcast One, because I listen to Podcast One all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, is it going to be a collaboration or what's going on?
Right.
It's because it's called hashtag
Stone Cold Podcast.
The show is not called Stone Cold Podcast. It's called The Steve Austin Show.
Right.
And the other show is The Steve Austin Show Unleashed, meaning he curses or whatever. No mention of that other than what he said on his show was that he's going to later on put it on Podcast One. So, it was, I guess it's exclusively live visually for the WWE Network. Mm-hmm. And then later on, Podcast One users can use it. So, Chris Coury, you're sort of new to the Stone Cold Podcast thing. What do you think? How did it go?
I think it went...
Kennedy McMahon!
I think it went good. I honestly think it went good.
Does it make you want to listen to the podcast?
It makes me now want to... It got me going. It got me going after last night, because Austin held no ground. He went all out on questions. And the one thing that I thought got me going was when he mentioned the whole issue with CM Punk. And that whole thing, with him not being there, and, the whole severance papers after he got married to AJ and all that.
And he apologized.
And he apologized to that, which took a lot of heart from Vince.
That was honestly the best part of the whole thing. Because that was what everyone... It's the most current thing. And he asked him if he saw the thing. And Vince kind of didn't hear the thing because he didn't want to get his heart broken. Like, he didn't want to hear the podcast.
And like he said,
he didn't want to hear
and like
hurtful things.
Right, and like Vince said, he goes, Punk lacked the communication skills. And he's willing to work with CM Punk again. But Punk has to get more of a communication skill development.
Vince sounds like he's over it. Like, he's willing to talk.
He wants to resolve it. Will we see Punk come back to WWE? I don't know. I don't know.
It's very, very smoky.
Because this business took a lot out of him.
And I must say that Vince's answer to why isn't Jim Ross more part of WWE was a good answer. He said, you need to be able to pick up the phone when I call you at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Okay.
You need to live, breathe. Everything you do is WWE. You got to know everything about where we're going with storyline, with everything, before you can make a judgment. You can't just be an outside perspective and say this, that, when you don't know how it's going to end. So he kind of had a great answer for that.
Right.
And he had it pretty much, he said, Stone Cold said, whoa, what if you're an asshole or whatever? He's like, don't piss people off. Vince was like, don't piss people off. Because Austin asked him, what if you piss people off? He's like, don't piss people off. Then you won't have a problem. Vince sounded very like...
He was adamant about it.
And he said that the locker room is not ambitious.
No, they're not.
That's kind of like telling the locker room that they're not what the Attitude Era was.
No.
And they need to step it up.
Will they step it up? I think so.
That they don't have that same hunger.
Maybe this is a call, to light a fire under their asses. Hey, listen, step up when needed. Don't lay back. Step up. Be the top-notch guy in the company. And the one thing I also liked from the podcast last night was about The Undertaker. And the decision to end that streak.
It was a valid point.
It was a valid point. That Vince saw Brock Lesnar as the guy that was unbeatable, unbreakable. He was rising to the top. He was catching fire at the right time. And he felt that The Undertaker wanted to give back. For all the sacrifice, for all the hard work that he's put in to the WWE. Being loyal to the company, not abandoning ship and going to WCW and all that. So he felt, yes, The Undertaker gave back to the business, but he felt that it was the right choice for the streak to end. Do I agree with that? Yes and no.
I agree with it wholeheartedly. Just because that's going to be a WrestleMania you remember for so long.
Yeah.
Everyone's expression on their face when it happened.
Yeah.
Just the moment of shock.
Yeah.
That and the way it ended. Mm-hmm. Usually you can predict when, okay, he's losing now because he's going to win later.
Right.
The match went straight through. Brock Lesnar destroyed Undertaker from beginning to end. Pinned him 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. 3 F5s.
I know.
And every that black guy with the white with the yes shirt.
His eyes bulged.
That was the best expression in WWE. That guy needs a Slammy award. If there's an award like a fan award,
yeah, because remember
he needs to win the fan.
Remember last year?
Oh my god! That's the most awesome face you could ever make.
Remember a couple of years ago, the Miz girl when Miz won the title over Orton.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The Miz Devil girl, she got a Slammy. So that guy that you mentioned that was at WrestleMania in the Superdome this year in New Orleans, he can get a Slammy for best shocking look of all time.
That's if I was him, to me I'm legendary. Like the face I made is forever. His face and his expression is gonna be in vignettes forever.
Oh hell yeah!
In WrestleMania history, whenever they play that, the Undertaker losing, they're gonna show his face. Wouldn't it be awesome to be that fan for the rest of your life?
Oh yeah, right.
You're that guy.
You're that guy
that was so shocked by the and then other people with their hands on their head, like
yeah. And the other thing I want to go into, which on the podcast I really thought was really, really good, was when Austin asked Vince, is Macho Man going into the Hall of Fame? And the one word that McMahon said was yes, whether it be 2015 or down the road.
Yeah, Austin really pushed the answer. He kept asking him.
And I say, and I asked this question last night on Facebook, do you agree with, and I said yes. Because Macho Man revolutionized an era. Okay, he wasn't part of the Attitude Era, but he helped revolutionize the WWF back then to transition over to what was now known as the Attitude Era. He helped get it together, you know. He worked with the likes of Hogan. He worked with the likes of Bret Hart and all that.
He's done it all, and you never know. It's just.
But now the question.
It's a mystery for now.
But now the question is going to remain is this, okay? The demand. The only way Macho Man can go in is if the entire family goes in.
Claiming that's what Macho Man claimed.
That's what Savage wanted.
Man. It's just.
I say.
One way, shape, or form, he's going to be in there. Let's not overthink this, people.
He's going in, but is it going to be with him and the entire family?
Or just him? That's the big question. Because he's going in, and I think that they don't know how to talk about it because they're not done talking about it. They're probably really in the middle of talking about it.
Right.
Because WrestleMania is, 6 months away?
Let's see, we're in December. So January, February, March.
6.5 months away?
3.5 months.
3.5
We're in December already, dude.
Isn't it?
March. It's March in March 2015 next year.
I thought it was like late April.
No. It usually is, but this year they got it March 29th.
So yeah, Roman Reigns is coming back soon.
Right.
So just think about that.
But this podcast, in my opinion, was good. And it got me really intrigued to listen to another thing of Austin. Because this was my first thing to ever watch, resolving to a podcast and all that. But I'm going to listen to it because I have the app on my phone now, and I want to listen to it. And
with the Steve Austin show.
Steve Austin show, yeah.
Well, it's good. The last 2 episodes with Bray Wyatt are awesome. I suggest if you hear that, it's good.
But what did you think of this podcast, though?
It was great. It was a very straight up interview, which I was really hoping it would be. I didn't want it to be hokey in like a whole wrestling angle. I wanted it to be a straight, and it was. And if it wasn't a straight interview, they got me. They really did. That's what that's what I said on Facebook. I'm like, if this is a work, then they got me.
Yeah, but no, they did a good job. They really did it. They did a good job.
And that was Vince McMahon's first podcast.
Oh, it won't be his last.
And I would very much hope that JR will get the same opportunity because his podcast.
I want to hear.
His podcast is very awesome.
I want to hear JR.
You know what's awesome about JR's podcast? The last month, he's had the Hardy Boys. He's had like 3 writers that.
What's the name of JR? What's the name of JR's? What's the name of JR's podcast?
The Ross Report.
The Ross Report. And this is the Steve Austin show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's 2 Steve Austin shows.
Which is the better one to listen to?
They're both good. I think that sometimes with the Unleashed show, he feels obligated. He has to curse.
So it's the Stone.
And then the edited one, he like.
So which is the one that he curses? The Unleashed?
The Unleashed is the
one.
The
Unleashed. Okay.
But they both have good episodes. So. Because the Bray Wyatt interviews are both on the family-friendly episodes, the Steve Austin show. And they were both awesome interviews. You don't have to be vulgar to be interesting. Mm-hmm. It was good episodes. So I suggest people listen to those.
Now, I'm going to say something here. You notice that you had the Austin podcast last night on the network. I say in due time, you're going to have JR do his own podcast. And who better not to have than Vince McMahon? I want to see Ross and McMahon.
That'll be cool.
That would be something.
I think they should do it soon, too. Like a month from now, they should do
I say maybe if you do another podcast, you do another Stone Cold podcast, but it has CM Punk.
No, that's a reach. But I heard last week on the Ross report that he was like, I can't lie, I'm a little jealous of Steve that he got to do that with.
So maybe something will be in the works.
And Austin really put him on. Like, he really credited Jim Ross heavily on this podcast. Like, gave Jim Ross a lot of credit. So maybe he's buttering Vince McMahon up for Jim Ross to do the same thing. And who knows, right after that, you do Chris Jericho, because I listen to Jericho's podcast every week.
Yeah, I have the Steve Austin show Unleashed.
Unleashed! But anyways...
Which is the one that... When did he do the one... Is the one with Bray... The one with Bray Wyatt, because I see here October 20...
The one with Bray Wyatt is the family-friendly.
Okay, because I see one here, Trash Talking the Ric Flair thing. That was October.
Nah, the last two are in the other one. The Steve Austin show.
Okay, so I'm going to look for it, and I'm going to watch...
That's always like a complaint for people. He always has to tell people, there's two shows. Family-friendly. It's like a robot repeating it.
I'm going to listen to it on the way home tonight, and I think... I'll let you know next week what I thought about it.
Sometimes I forget we're recording.
Really?
Because we're like talking.
Oh, wow.
But anyways.
But it's good that we do it this way because we get more fans onto the show.
Yeah.
We had a good viewership last week. We had over 20 views, which I thought was good. More than what we had the last couple of weeks. And we got some replies.
And I'm just finicky with a new laptop, and I don't know how to do the same thing as a tablet, and I broke my tablet or whatever. But, you know, I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to keep sharing it to new people, and I'm going to try to do my best.
And the one comment we got from that Shantae girl,
Shantae J.
Shantae J, she brought up a good point. And I'm going to give you a shout out to this, Shantae. You made a good point, and I agreed with you on the majority of it last week. Was the whole thing with Sting. Do you see him working with John Cena? No. Sting is too good. Sting is an icon to be working with a guy like John Cena.
I think it could happen eventually, but I don't think it's something that they
want to do.
That they're aiming for first, at least.
No.
If anything, they're aiming for Hunter and Sting.
Which I think would be very, very good. Honestly, I think
for now, Shantae, I'd say it's Triple H, and then maybe the year after, and which is a long shot because Sting is a babyface, Cena's a babyface.
But how long?
It doesn't make sense for them to fight.
Right, but now, if you want to do that, now I see you're going to do Sting Triple H in California. I understand that. That would be very good. Two of my good. I like Sting, and I like Hunter. Who am I going to go for? Oh, God, it's up in the air. I'm mixed about that one.
Matches like that, to me, don't matter the results. I just want to see the match because I know it's going to be big.
But now, here's going to be the question. After WrestleMania, how long is Sting obligated in his contract with WWE?
I think that if he's smart, he'll do 2 years. Just WrestleMania... SummerSlam.
Do the big pay-per-view.
WrestleMania, SummerSlam.
Would you put him into
End his career.
Would you do him into a Survivor Series?
Yes, maybe next year's Survivor Series.
What about now? Would you put him into
in a big angle?
Right now, would you put him also into the Royal Rumble? No,
not at all. He's past that period of going for the title.
The guy's 50 years old.
He needs to go straight for the big event matches.
Yeah, so put him into a bigger match like it's
sometimes the person gets over, like the belt is not, it's not the big attraction anymore because you're who you are now.
Right. So yeah, I agree. Put him into big matches like a Survivor Series. Put him into a SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. You don't have to do the Royal Rumble because the Royal Rumble is.
Did you notice that the video game simulation was Sting and Undertaker? You didn't notice that?
Yeah, I know
They're teasing that.
Right, because that was the original plan.
But they kind of like teasing the fans to make you keep thinking about it.
Now, let me put something out here for you, okay? Now, you know they're going to probably do the Sting Triple H story heading into California next year, Okay? Wouldn't it be something, though, if it turns out to be a triple threat? Like you said in the WWE 2K15 game, they're teasing you with Sting Undertaker. Now they want to work Sting Triple H. Wouldn't it be something if you could tease everybody else and put it into a triple threat match? Sting versus Taker versus Hunter? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something?
I don't see that happening.
No, but I know that, but wouldn't that be something, though?
It'll be something, definitely. But triple threat matches are never my favorite matches, though.
I know that, but I'm just saying, in general, at WrestleMania, wouldn't that be something, though, if you can have 3 of the all-time greatest in one ring fighting? That would get me going.
I'm sure it would get you going.
Not that way.
But
it would be something to watch. It would be very good. Will it happen? Who knows?
Just the people in your situation, there's no way that can lose.
I know.
Just
that
the people in it.
That match can go on for days.
It doesn't matter what the result is.
No.
But I must say, last year's WrestleMania, the triple threat match, I enjoyed a lot.
Oh, for the title?
Yeah. Batista, Randy, and Daniel Bryan.
Because they built it up very good.
It was really good. I must say.
Now, who's not to say they might do it again this year? We're going to see. But it's only going to depend on whether or not The Undertaker comes back.
All right. I'm going to close that up, if you don't mind.
That's fine by me.
And I'm going to mention, I was sleeping on this, because I didn't think it was going to be all that, but I was wrong. The Usos documentary was awesome.
Yes.
And you get a peek of them with Roman Reigns playing football.
Yes.
Young kids.
Uh-huh.
And I really slept on this. I suggest if you have the WWE Network, go watch the Usos. It's like, what,
10 hours to Houston.
45 minutes?
Something like that, but it's good.
It's good.
It's real good.
And I also got a chance to watch the newer Batista documentary, which I...
On the network?
Yeah, on the network. And it was just the events when he came back recently.
Really?
The behind-the-scenes stuff.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Really?
It's really good. And he talking about Guardians of the Galaxy and he made Guardians first and then he came back.
Really?
Yeah. So he said that
shit.
he didn't want to come back till he made a movie that he felt was big, which he successfully did.
Oh, shit. No. And tonight, on the network, there is a new Monday Night War.
What is it, Kurt? What is it?
Oh, God, I can't read anything on your TV, man.
What does it say? My TV is like...
Your TV's weird, dude. I can't read anything. Oh, man, I can't...
The era of... WWE. Damn.
I can't read
can't
it.
tell what it is either. Well, we'll figure it out sooner or later.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I pressed a button that made it weird or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but there is a
But
new
either way, we're forgetting that we're recording. But there's a new Monday Night War tonight. I'm going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it. And
But-
you know you haven't seen on the network in a long time? The Countdown Show.
Yeah, they're giving that a break, and I agree. They also gave WrestleMania Rewind a break.
Yeah, they gave that a break.
So, I'd rather see more original content as far as, like, I liked that. I liked Legends House. I don't know.
Are they going to bring
I want either a second season or something else.
Are they going to bring that back?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Do I want to see it come back? Yeah. It was good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I want to see it. But other than that, man, there's nothing else.
There's nothing
what
else?
else is there?
Not much to talk
We
about.
pretty much said it all, predicted it all, and I'm Mr. Caldero, and this is Chris Coury, the future.
We'll see you next week.
We will see you next week, and I want to see you comment on this, and we definitely will talk about it next week.
Exactly.
So signing off, we love it.